Hey there, this is Vicki Arsenault, and you're listening to another episode of Facing Your Fears. Are you someone who has a knack for overthinking? I know that I have a tendency to do that sometimes because I have a lot of different thoughts that happen in my head, and I can tend to overthink things to the point where I actually just don't do anything at all. So, what are some things that some of us think about? Well, I'll tell you some, and you can see if you can relate to this at all. All right, so have you ever said something to someone, and then afterwards, like when the conversation's over and you're kind of driving home or whatever, you're like, oh, man, I hope that they didn't take it that way. Like, I meant this. Did I say it that way? Oh, no. Right? And you start thinking, like, oh, I should have said this. I should have said that. Or maybe, if you're like me, you have to go somewhere special and it takes forever to just find the perfect outfit to wear. You got to try on everything in the closet first. Or have you ever texted somebody or called somebody and left a voicemail and then you haven't heard back from them? And it wasn't just like a, hey, how's it going? Call me back when you get a chance kind of thing. It was more of like you sent something and you're waiting for the response and it hasn't come yet. Or how about writing? Like, so for me, I have to create a lot of content for my business and even for this podcast. And I don't like writing. So this podcast is completely on the fly every single time I do it. I kind of have like a very small idea of what I might want to talk about, and then I just hit record and run with it and see what happens. But there were also lots of times that after I've done that, I'm going, oh man, that probably wasn't a good one. Oh, I probably should just go in and delete that one. Well, no, it's out there. I guess I'll just leave it there. Because I can't pre-write things. I have such a hard time to get my thoughts out on paper. So for me, I will overthink that. When I used to write articles, when I had my organizing business back in the mid-2000s, I used to write articles for a paper, just giving tips to people to help them get organized. Very small articles. I'm telling you, the articles were small. And it would take me literally like 3 hours to just write like these 4 or 5 paragraphs because I would write a line, erase it, write a line, erase it, write a paragraph, erase it. And it was just brutal. Also, another thing that I tend to overthink is decorating my house. I think that I could go in and decorate someone else's house. If you gave me a budget, I could go find all kinds of things and decorate your house. And I think it would look great. I think you'd love it. But my house, it's pretty boring looking, honestly. The colors are very neutral, like very soft earth tones. So it seems very peaceful when you come in. But even the way that I have the pictures on the wall right now, I hate them. I'm not the pictures, but the way I have it set up. And that's the reason that I don't have very many things hanging up everywhere, because once I hang something up, I'm like, oh, I don't think I like that. That one should have been more over to the left. Like maybe it's a little bit of perfectionism in there, and also just mixed with a whole lot of indecisiveness about what I actually want. And then I'm going to buy something and I'm going to be bored with it in 2 weeks and not going to want to use it anymore. So I totally overthink that. Another thing just along those lines is that I overthink purchases. I had to buy a new computer. And it took me, I don't know, several weeks because I have to look at all the computers online. I've got to read the reviews. I've got to see which one has a good camera, which one, it's just thin and light and it's going to do what I need it to do. Even getting a microphone for the podcast, I was like weeks. I can tell you, I put so many microphones in my cart on Amazon, and then I ended up seeing one of the ones that I had picked out on Amazon at Walmart. And so I just got it there. And then I was like, well, it's kind of cheap. So if I don't like it, I'll just get another one later. But literally weeks I spent looking up a microphone option. I don't spend money quickly. So it just takes forever, and I will overthink it because I'm like, I don't know, what if I get it, I don't want to order from Amazon, and then if I don't like it, I'm gonna have to ship it back, and that's just a pain. So do you guys do this, or is this just me? Okay, I have just a couple other things that I tend to overthink. Now, I know these are not super serious ones, and we do tend to, overthink some serious issues as well, but here's another one that has been a challenge for me, always overthinking, was what am I going to cook for dinner? Creating a menu for the week was just awful, awful. Totally overthink it. And because I couldn't just make a decision, I would just make the easiest thing possible in the house. Like, hey guys, we're having grilled cheese tonight. So, luckily, I think I told you guys before about Emails. Emails. This app has totally saved my life. If you want to find out like what I think about this, you can go to vickyarsenault.com/getcooking, and you can find out how Emails has changed my life as far as prepping meals for our family and planning meals for the week. It's amazing. It took so much of the concerns away from me. And then a final thing, which I think many of you might relate to, is trying to pick a movie on Netflix or Pureflix. Like, I can spend a half an hour just looking for a good movie to watch. And then finally, I'm just like, well, now it's been a half an hour. I really kind of wanted to go to bed, at 10. I'm not going to be able to finish the movie tonight, so I'm just not going to watch a movie. And I will just watch a rerun on TV instead. So, I don't know. Like, okay, this is overthinking. It is overthinking, and you can overthink about lots of things. You have a discussion with your spouse or your friend or something, and maybe it gets a little heated, and you're like, oh my gosh, they must be so mad at me now, and oh, they probably hate me, and you think all of these crazy things. This overthinking, well, for one, it steals our joy, right? It steals our joy because we're living in a place that is not reality. We're thinking about things that don't even exist. We're thinking about and panicking about something that either one, doesn't really matter. Like, who cares what movie I'm going to choose on Netflix or how I'm going to decorate my house, right? But these are things that I have trouble dealing with or thinking about. So you know what I do? I think I said this in one other episode, is I just procrastinate on it. I'm like, well, I don't really know what I want. I've thought about this so much, so you know what? I'm just going to put it away and think about it later. When I was looking for computers or microphones or decorations for the house or a movie to watch, I'm just like, you know what? I just don't know. It's been long enough. I've been looking and I just can't look at it anymore. I need to just put it away for a while. So one of the things, if you are an overthinker like I am, then one of the things that you may want to do is just find a way to distract yourself. And sometimes distracting yourself is going to help you put to rest some of these thoughts that really just don't matter. And also, distracting yourself is going to help you just think about something different so that you're not obsessing about why the person didn't text you back yet. What are they going to say? Oh my gosh, they're mad at me. They hate me. Where the whole time, their phone was probably dead. They didn't even get your message yet, So when you start to recognize that you're overthinking, okay, first of all, think about what triggers overthinking for you. What is the one thing, or maybe there's many things, that are triggers for you to start overthinking? And ask yourself, is it because I am being insecure about something? Because most cases, that's what it is. We're feeling insecure and we're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? What did I say? What if I make this choice and it's the wrong choice, right? So we're just thinking about all these things. So one of the best things you can do is try to take that and switch it into problem solving mode instead. So instead of worrying about all of, these things, you can just say like, okay, what can I do instead? So just for an example, decorating my house, we'll say, I can say, all right, I'm going to buy these decorations. I'm going to hang them up in my house. But what I'm going to do, in case I don't like it, is I'm going to get those command strip things. And that way, I'm not putting holes all over all the walls. I can just get the command strips and kind of Velcro everything to the wall. And if I don't like it, I can take it down. Who cares? And I'll move it over an inch or take it down altogether. So switch into problem solving mode. What can you do? Now, if it is a text that you're waiting for or a phone call you're waiting for or something like that, those things you don't really have a solution for. You just have to wait, and then also train yourself to not think of the worst case scenario. Think of the best case scenario. Oh, their phone is probably dead. That's probably why I haven't heard from them. Or maybe something is happening in their life right now and they just don't have a chance to message me back yet. When it comes to, what to wear, just put something on, problem solve. What am I going to feel the most confident in right now? And then just pick one. Give yourself 10 minutes and then just go for it and head out the door. Don't fuss about it anymore and think about what are people thinking about you. You just wear something that makes you feel confident. All right, so problem solving. The other thing that you can do is just keep busy. There were times in my life where, I'll give you an example. When my dad had cancer, I was going to school in New York, and my dad ended up having lung cancer. I was, devastated, and I knew that he wasn't going to have much time, so I ended up transferring. I had been in New York for 2 years, and then I had to transfer back to UNH in New Hampshire so I could be a little closer to my dad, which he died just before I started school at UNH. So, and I was 26. I had just turned 26 years old when he died. I was 1 week into it. And so I just kept myself busy all the time, right? Because whenever I had downtime and I would think about it, it would just bring up all these emotions. Now, I know that I had to grieve. Everybody, we all grieve differently. For me, I need to distract myself and only have pockets of time where I really can just sit and process stuff. Because otherwise, it's going to consume my entire day and then ultimately my entire week and then my entire life. So I actually have to stay busy in order to kind of work through stuff in my own head or have the pockets of time where I can actually just stop and think about it constructively instead of destructively. So I don't know if, you guys are that same way or not, but distracting myself, whether it's, I remember times in life where I was really upset about something and I would clean my house, like scrub the stove, scrub the counter, scrub the floor on my hands and knees because I was so mad and I just needed to get all that energy out. So my house ended up getting clean, so it was a nice byproduct. But there are things that you can do to kind of distract yourself, and then as you're doing that, it kind of helps calm you down so that you can think about stuff more rationally and deal with whatever issues are that you might be dealing with. So those are kind of my my top tips for helping you overcome that overthinking that we all tend to do. And also just remind yourself, you can't predict the future. Now, all of us probably had one of those little magic 8 balls when we were little where you ask it a question and you shake it up and then the little saying pops up in the window that's like yes or no or what's one I just was thinking of the other day? I can't think. But anyway, you guys know what they all are. All those little sayings in there. We can't predict the future. And so we just have to live in the present. And when we catch ourselves trying to think about what may be, we really just need to learn to recognize it and then rein ourselves back in so that we can think about the present and what we're in at this moment and not all of the what ifs of the future. So if you're an overthinker, know that you are not alone. I would say probably 2/3 of the US or maybe the world end up overthinking. We all do it at some point in our lives. Some people, more than others. But try to just recognize that, wait a minute, I'm in a place where I'm starting to overthink. And then start either focusing on problem solving, distract yourself, whether you want to pick up a new hobby or start writing and journaling, things like that. That would be awesome. Find some way to keep yourself busy, and then just recognize, okay, I can't predict the future, so I'm just going to stay in the moment right now. And also think of when you find yourself starting to think about the worst case scenarios, just change your mindset to, okay, what is also the best case scenario that could be going on. All right, well, thanks for joining me today, you guys. I hope that you relate to this. I hope that I'm not the only one out here that overthinks things. And also I wanted to just say thank you so much for all of you that joined in on the Proverbs 31 day challenge. I hope that July made you a whole bunch wiser just reading all of those Proverbs. It's amazing. So now I'm trying to find something else to move on to. I've been reading Luke just to kind of catch up on that. I think I'm on chapter 3. So who knows what kind of juicy tidbits I'm going to find inside of the book of Luke. So have an amazing week. That was my hand clapping if you just heard that, because I feel like I'm doing a Facebook Live. Have a great week. I'll see you next time, guys, and talk soon. Bye.